It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily with positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
Joining us today in our Positive Vibes Only segment from out of New Jersey, it's a dentist and a diplomat on the American Board of Dental Sleep Medicine, Dr. Craig Miller. Dr. Miller, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ms. Washington. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. So you've been also, aside from just working on teeth, you've been working to improve health specifically in the sleep area with snoring and sleep apnea. Before we even get into what you have found in your studies and in your work, what is sleep apnea for those that do not know?
Well, what sleep apnea is it is an obstruction. And where that obstruction is, it could be in the nose area, it can be in the throat area, but it is an obstruction. It's a breathing disorder is what it is. Right,
which is what tends to lead to things like snoring and even more health issues, such as, trouble breathing and things like that overnight while you are sleeping. So in your studies, you have looked to find alternatives. I know the CPAP is something that a lot of people with sleep apnea, including some family members of mine, use, and that's a very highly well-known, this traditional tubing and face mask and the loud pumping sound as, to help you with your sleep apnea. So what have you found as alternatives besides that are effective, if not more effective, versus the CPAP?
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, for your listeners' information, CPAP is continuous airway pressure that people through a mask that's attached to an oxygen tank, and basically it's while you sleep, you put it on your face, and it blows air through your nose and mouth, and basically blows you up like a balloon. And as you probably know, a lot of people don't find that uncomfortable, and they don't wear their CPAP almost as soon as they start using it. Yes. So I'm sorry. What was that?
No, I said that's very true. I've heard it's very uncomfortable.
Yes. So then people look for alternatives, so what a great alternative is oral appliance therapy. And that's how I got into sleep medicine, because dentists can make these nighttime sleep appliances. And what do these appliances do? Well, they bring the lower jaw ever so slightly forward, but and opens the mouth up ever so slightly, just enough to create more space in the back of the throat for patients to breathe while they sleep. And that's the theory behind these oral appliances.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. That's something that I don't think enough people even know about as an option. So that's something that you have started working with your patients to provide them these alternatives. You're teaching it as well as writing about it in a book.
That's right. I just came out with a book this summer. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Washington.
Tell us about your book and what readers can expect.
It's called Get Back Your Smile, Take Back Your Life, How to Artistically Create Remarkable Dental Results for the Remarkable You. I started writing this book over 10 years ago, and because I thought I had a lot to say to not just lay people, but dentists as well. And how do I write a book for both all these people, people in the field and people out of the field? And I think I've been able to do that quite nicely with this book. And from what I hear from people who have already read it, from my dental colleagues as well as people not in dentistry. I think I've achieved that goal. And Chapter 3 talks about obstructive sleep apnea. In fact, it's entitled "Noses are for breathing, mouths are for eating," meaning ideally, well, a lot of obstructive sleep apnea is caused by issues with the nose. Okay, so if you're not breathing through your nose ideally, well, then you're breathing through your mouth. And if you're breathing through your mouth, your body is not filtering the air that's going into your body. Okay, because in the nose there's a filtration system. So you breathe through the nose, and there's a filtration system there, cleans the air that gets into your body. When you breathe through your mouth, that's very detrimental. That's dirty air that you're breathing in. Okay, so that's why I titled the chapter "Noses are for breathing and mouths are for eating." So whenever we do a comprehensive sleep examination, we have to figure out where that blockage is. That breathing blockage. Is it in the nose? Is it like I said, in the back of the mouth, the throat? Is it somewhere, and we have tests that help us figure that out. And I also have my colleagues, ENTs, and different other physicians we're a group that come together and figure out the best way to treat each and every obstructive sleep apnea patient.
Wow, I didn't even know that there was so much involved in it. I mean, I have a very broad knowledge of it based on what I've seen and heard from people that I know that have sleep apnea, so we're not having these conversations. So essentially there's multiple forms, I guess you can call it, of sleep apnea, depending on, where the blockage is, and that's how you can go about really trying to treat it and help make sure that, people are getting the proper airway through the nose versus through the mouth, which I didn't even know was also something that you have to make sure that you're doing because it's of the filtration system. So I'm learning a lot here.
There you go. Good.
Yeah, so
good.
what
I'm
really
excited.
made you, yes, I'm learning a lot. What really made you decide to even get into this and take that next step in your career to be more than just a dentist?
Well, so many of my patients, I've been a dentist almost 30 years now, and so many of my patients have been complaining about how they're snoring, or their partner's complaining that they're snoring, that they're not breathing. Ideally, they're gasping for air while they sleep. You usually find that out by their spouse, of course, because when you're sleeping, you don't know how you're breathing and what you're doing. And then I got into, how can I help these people? And it's a lot of these people can be treated with, like I said, dental appliance therapy. So that's how I got into this whole thing. And as I was learning about obstructive sleep apnea, the fact that these people are not getting enough good, proper sleep, because when they're not breathing ideally while they sleep, they're waking up. Well, they're arousing. It's called arousals. You don't know what's happening to you, but your body is not getting a good deep sleep when you keep waking up for air. Okay, so and we need the 7-8 hours of sleep, because not getting enough sleep leads to consequences over time. The research has showed that it can cause death if you're not sleeping enough. In fact, we can go almost 30 days without eating, but we die if we don't sleep for 30 days. Interesting, right?
Yeah, wow. I didn't even know that. I didn't know we can go that long without eating.
Yeah.
Definitely see that long without sleeping.
And there's a lot of other what we call comorbidities that are involved with lack of sleep. Increased heart problems. There are certain hormones that, like, if you're a young child and you're not getting enough sleep, then your body's not secreting enough growth hormone. So you're not the child's not going to grow as well as he or she should. It decreases our immune response, as far as healing, the ability to heal, the ability to fight diseases. Okay. What else? Sleep is the best blood pressure medication known to man and women. Okay. If you don't get enough sleep, your blood pressure rises. Okay. So there's a lot of consequences that go into insufficient sleep, for sure.
Wow. Now I'm going to take a step back. You mentioned about when you have sleep apnea, you're not getting the sleep that you need because you are arousing throughout the night. How do people know that they should even be checked for sleep apnea versus just not getting a good night's rest? I mean, I know I wake up tired, regardless if I get 2 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep. I feel like I'm still very tired getting up in the morning. But, when you...
Well, that's a telltale sign. Well, I mean, if you're sleeping 6, 7, 8 hours and you're waking up and you're not feeling refreshed, that's a sign. Okay, if you fall asleep watching television very easily, that's a sign. And we, as sleep dentists or physicians, we have screening process. When someone comes into the office, we ask them a lot of questions like that, and that helps us diagnose what they have. Now, for the record, the only person that can diagnose obstructive sleep apnea is a physician. Okay, we as dentists, we can screen for it, and if we have any belief that this person has obstructive sleep apnea, then we will refer that patient to a physician for a sleep study. And then through that sleep study, we can find out whether, in fact, they have sleep apnea and how much sleep apnea, whether it's mild, moderate, or severe. Okay?
All right. So then is snoring a telltale sign that you most likely have sleep apnea? I also have heard that. I don't know if that's just a myth and stereotype or if there's some truth behind it. Great
question. Snoring is a type of suffocation. Okay? Therefore, it is a sleep issue and should be taken seriously. If you know somebody who snores, they should go for a sleep test, for sure. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That makes sense, though. I mean, essentially, you're snoring because there's something going on, maybe in your nasal passages that you need to get checked out.
Right. Well, you're right. The initial snoring starts with the soft palate. If the soft palate is in the way of the breathing area in the throat, that vibrates. And it's the vibration of that soft palate that creates the snoring noise. Okay. So that soft palate is constricting the airway to some degree, and that's why snoring is an issue and should be taken seriously.
Wow, absolutely. I'm learning so much. I love this.
Good.
So for our listeners that are following along and that want some more information, where can they check you out and get more information on you or even your book? I know you're on Amazon.
That's right. Well, if you go to Amazon and look up Dr. Craig Miller dental book, you'll find it. Again, the title is Get Back Your Smile, Take Back Your Life. And they can find me on drcraigmiller.com or themillercenter.com. I'd love to chat with anyone who wants to know more about this important disease. Yeah,
there's a lot to learn, obviously, as I've learned in this short amount of time. So Dr. Miller, thank you so much for joining us on our Positive Vibes Only segment this week, educating our listeners and myself included on some things we should look for to make sure that we're getting not only a good night's sleep but a healthy night's sleep. So thank you.
Absolutely. A healthy night's sleep does wonders for not just feeling better, but for your head, but for your whole body. It's a whole body experience for sure. So everybody sleep well. Okay. Thanks again, Ms. Washington, for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.